This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
To add to the cacophony of violent rhetoric that was spewed this weekend by Donald Trump, I guess I'm going to add to it. Steve Bannon gave a speech to a group called American Movement. Apparently, they're a legitimate charity. It seems as though their mission is to be a predatory hiring agency to recruit and train and then implement into the government young conservatives. On their Twitter, it says something like center-right or some other nonsense. That is certainly not the case. If they're inviting Steve Bannon, the racist, the guy who wants to burn everything to the ground because he's a Leninist or whatever he's said in the past, an anti-Semite, just terrible all the way around. And he gives a speech, and in the end of the speech, there's a bunch of different things he says, but the thing I really want you to focus in on is the fact that he's telling these young conservatives who are being implemented into the government, into House committees and Senate committees, that they should be prepared to go to prison for the MAGA movement. Prepared to go to prison. He says a bunch of other nonsense about a multi-ethnic, multi-racial coalition behind Donald Trump. He calls Donald Trump divine providence. We'll get into that. But just prepare yourself for this kind of nonsense that's going to amp up before the election. This kind of stuff is going to get worse, trying to get these kids who don't know any better, who became of age in American politics with Donald Trump being the norm for them. And he's telling them, be prepared to go to prison, which another way of saying that is be prepared to commit crimes for Donald Trump. Be prepared to commit crimes for the overall Make America Great Again movement. Watch Steve Bannon, sores on his face, just a disaster of a human being, give this speech.
You ought to be humiliated by what's just going to be spin and talk and the cant that comes out of the mainstream media. And the Republican Party is nothing but controlled opposition. Johnson's proven that. I mean, McCarthy was worse. They did that debt deal. We're still living with this. But look at what's happening. This is not sustainable. It's not sustainable geopolitically. It's not sustainable culturally. It's certainly not sustainable financially. Society below us, the working class and the underclass, are starting to break apart. And when that breaks, we're going to have issues in this country that we never felt we were going to have, don't know how to deal with. The political class in this city cannot deal with the problems we face. This is why they hate Trump. Trump's not perfect. He's far from perfect. That he's an instrument of divine providence is no doubt in my mind because I was there. I saw it. No money, no organization. A plane, a man, a message, and just go around and people listened because he connects to them. And he shows you the multi-ethnic, multiracial coalition we can put together. Particularly if we focus on the economics of it. If we focus on economic nationalism and we start to treat American citizens like they got a special deal. It's not just America first, it's American citizens first. But this is what American Moment is, and this is why I've been a huge supporter of this from day one, and this is why I come over and give the talks. Because there are not many people like the leadership of this organization. But more importantly, there's not many people like the young people that we're putting in on Capitol Hill into the committees, into the second Trump term. You can't just talk about deconstructing the administrative state. You have to do it. You have to take on the deep state. You have to do it. You have to be prepared to go to prison. I get prison sentences all over.
Donald Trump is an instrument of divine providence. Just so we get it right, let's look up what Merriam-Webster has to say about what divine providence is. Providence is defined as divine guidance or care. Divine meaning God-given. Given by God, the creator of the universe. You get it. The other definition is God conceived as the power sustaining and guiding human destiny. Donald Trump, the man who's calling for a bloodbath or suggesting it'll happen, the guy who's called for violence at his campaign rallies, the man who incited a violent insurrection and attempt to end democracy in America, is an instrument of divine providence, says super religious guy Steve Bannon. Goes on to talk about the multi-ethnic, multiracial coalition. You know, because Donald Trump has been indicted 4 times, 91 counts, and that appeals to black folks, according to MAGA. He's gotten mugshots taken. The black folks love that because they all have mugshots too, you know. He's made a high-top sneaker, a gaudy gold thing with a T on the side. And the black people, they love the sneakers, according to MAGA. What's multiracial, multi-ethnic? Nonsense. They think that the more times that they repeat the lie, that it becomes more true or more believable. More importantly, he's talking about the organization, this American Moment, and he says this leadership of this organization is great. It's fantastic. There's not many people like them. And then he says, but more importantly, there's not many people like the young people that we're putting in on Capitol Hill into the committees into the second Trump term. See, it's like an arm of Project 2025, where they're going to find their people who are loyal to put into government all over as much talk as there is about the deep state. This is what he's talking about. It's creating a deep state that will be loyal to Donald Trump. How loyal, you may ask? Well, according to Steve Bannon, as you just heard, you should be prepared to commit crimes for Donald Trump. You should be willing and able and prepared to violate the United States Constitution in the name of Donald Trump, in the name of the dear leader, Donald Trump. Because that is what is required. This has nothing to do with patriotism. This has nothing to do with anything other than adherence to a criminal ending democracy in America and recreating socially and economically and politically a new America. Dangerous talk is what this is from a criminal, Steve Bannon, in working in service to a criminal, Donald Trump. And they'll color it as patriotism, these fake-triots, because they are liars and grifters and hucksters and dangerous demagogues who have a perverse idea about what America should be. I'm going to leave this one there. I would throw it to you to have a conversation in the comments. You can also call and leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can also email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. I would love to hear from you. If you appreciate what I do, my work, my voice, my take, whatever, please consider supporting and producing this work right here on YouTube. You can click the join button below on YouTube to become a channel member for $2 a month. $1.99 a month is all it takes. I would appreciate it very much. You can also go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. It's going to be a lot of work between now and November, and I hope you are ready for that. Follow me on social media. I'd love to see you there. I'm at Dollemore. Even for the trolls, I'm at Dollemore. And I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another.